Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we sync up with everything Chelsea FC. Today is the first in a four-part series I'm doing about keep, loan, or sell, where I'll be going through our entire squad and deciding what I would do with them. If you like the content and want to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking, sharing, and subscribing, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. So, without further ado, let's get into the first part of the series, which is going to be goalkeepers and defenders. Let's go. Okay, starting off with the goalkeepers, and we have Robert Sanchez. Ooh, it sends chills down everyone's spine talking about this guy, doesn't it? Well, Chelsea fans especially. So Sanchez has had a reasonable end to the season. He's, actually looking like a not terrible goalkeeper at this point, but he has unfortunately just cost us too many points, too many errors, too many cost points. It's going to have to be a sell for Sanchez. There's other guys on the books that kind of do the job as like a decent backup, and he's not good enough to rely on for a whole season. Like, you got to bear in mind, we're used to guys like Petr Cech and Courtois and even Edouard Mendy in that absolutely unbelievable season that he had. But nah, man, it's a sell for Robert Sanchez. Sorry, man, you're starting to come good, maybe, but Champions League and title challenges, I just don't think he's got it in him. Okay, number two, Philip Jorgensen. Jorgensen. Oh, I think it's Jorgensen actually. Sorry. Um, it's a keep. It's a tentative keep. He's not really obviously better or worse than Sanchez, and he doesn't seem to be complaining about only for instance, this season he played Conference League. Almost exclusively. I think he might have played one or two games when Sanchez was really, really falling off, but ultimately not terrible as a backup keeper. He's still pretty young. Doesn't look amazing, doesn't look terrible, kind of what you need for a backup keeper. There's obviously conversations to be had about other keepers that we've got on the books elsewhere at the moment. We'll get to that after we've gone through the first team that's here. But tentative keep. Might end up changing my mind on that one later, but for now, we'll say keep. Marcus Bettinelli, keep. Right, we always have that third keeper who's a little bit older, a bit more experienced, doesn't mind, not playing every game or any games, as the case often is. You know, Previously we've had like Mark Schwarzer and we had Willie Caballero, who's now in the coaching setup, I think. So that's cool that he stuck around. But no, I think it's really good to have an experienced keeper, someone a little bit older, good for the dressing room. Obviously, great for training. I mean, that's essentially what these guys kind of are, isn't it? They just kind of get paid to train. But yeah, no, keep Marcus Bettinelli. I don't see any value in spending money on the third keeper at the moment, so he sticks around. Lucas Bergstrom, I haven't seen much of him. I don't actually know exactly how old he is. I'm going to assume he's in his 20s. It's just going to be a sell. Haven't seen him at all. He's not really in the conversation again with other young keepers and interesting guys that we've got coming in. He hasn't even been in the conversation. If he can't even display Sanchez or Jorgensen at this point, then yeah, Lucas, man, it's not your day. We're going to sell you. All right, moving on to defenders, and we're starting off with Mark Cucurella. Now, what a guy, man. What a player. Really, really came back from a really tough start at the club. He was getting a lot of sticks, sideshow Bob, this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean? And he had a rough season and he went through all those managers and do you know what I mean? He wasn't playing well, a couple of mistakes here and there, but it is so clear he is easily one of the first names on the team sheet every single game for us at the moment. He's even playing a lot of the games where we're like putting out a second team, do you know what I mean? Like in the Conference League or whatever, just because we don't really have any other left back options at all at the moment. Like Caleb Wiley's in the development squad or out on loan or something. I can't really remember, but ultimately, Cucurella is the boy. 7 goals this season, man. 5 in the Prem. That's like Ivanovic vibes, for the goal scoring. And for me, he feels like our new Azpilicueta. I could maybe see him wearing the vice captain armband one day. Obviously, the captainship is still a bit of a mess at the moment. Reece James started doing a good job, but yeah, Cucurella, unbelievable left back, arguably the best in the Prem, one of the best in the world. European winner with Spain, and he's just the first name on the sheet every time, isn't he? So yeah, absolutely keep Cucurella, no issues. Okay, Tosin Adarabioyo. Uncle Tosin, right? Uncle Tosin, because he's like 28 and that makes him one of the oldest players in the team. This is a difficult one, man. I would probably say keep. It looks like Dizassi's, obviously we loaned him out. He's probably going to go. Um, Again, just a good guy to have around. There's obviously talks about us buying someone like a Mark Gurhey at the moment. I don't see Tyson coming in and being the starting guy to partner Levi Colwill every game, but ultimately he's a good lad. He's obviously got a lot of respect in the dressing room, which is cool. And yeah, no, Tosin stays. For me, Tosin stays. And he was a free, right? So awesome, awesome. Benoit Badiashile. Okay, Benoit Badiashile. I talked about him a little bit in my first video. Go and check that out. It's just like a general Chelsea ramble. But yeah, he's when we got him, he was like, wow, we've got a real player here. This guy looks wicked. And like a lot of the players that we buy, he just like massively fell off. I think inconsistency was a big part of that. He was playing a lot at the start, and then, we've changed our centre back pairing so many times over the last few years. It's absolutely outrageous. Benoit Badiashile doesn't feel like the guy. You know what I mean? And to be fair, Levi Colwill, as good as we'll get to him in a minute, but as good as Levi Colwill is, you can still see how much room for improvement he's got. And obviously, but he's really, really young. Benoit Badiashile, you don't even necessarily look at him thinking, oh, give this guy games and he's going to get a load better. It kind of feels like he's peaked. And if he's peaked as a backup player, like a second string, I wouldn't be adverse to keeping him because I think he's a good guy to have around. Um, but yeah, I guess say stay at the moment. He's left-footed, and that deputises quite well for Levi Colwill. But yeah, we'll say Benoit Badiashile stays, but I don't think it would be difficult to find a new player, maybe a little bit cheaper and that would kind of come in and do that spot too. Okay, Levi Colwill. Levi Colwill stays 100%. We managed to fight off Liverpool and a couple of other clubs coming in for him because they all really wanted him. Obviously, he was amazing at Brighton. He is growing into his game every single day. He's still really young. For me, absolute captain material. Like I just see his temperament and his passion, and I see the way he is on the pitch, and I'm like, he's got some bits in his game to clean up. He likes to scrap. Do you know what I mean? He seems like the first guy almost all the time to get into some rough and tumble with the other players. So I think he needs to learn to chill out a little bit and keep his head. But ultimately, throughout the season, he's just grown and grown. He looks absolutely great, and I see him, not necessarily like the next John Terry or something, but I see him being in our team for the next 10 years, 100%. Levi Colwill stays. Trevor Chalobah, what a sad story, man. He's just going to get sold, isn't he? I would probably keep him if I thought that that was actually an option, but he's a youth academy player. If we sell him for 30, 40 mil, that's pure book profit, and Chelsea love pure book profit. They the fact that they like ousted him from the first team and he didn't go on the preseason and he went on loan to Crystal Palace for the first half of the season. They still brought him back because we needed that guy to come in and just kind of do that job. And you can see he's a great player, and I could see him really growing into the team, but it just feels written in the stars. There's just something about him that the uppers don't like. Do you know what I mean? The Blueco guys are not a fan. And it's probably not even that they're not a fan, they're just not enough of a fan. It's probably weighing it up, right? It's like how much do we like this guy versus how much pure book profit can we get for him? So I would like to see him stay, but he's going to get sold. So we'll put him in the sell category, sadly, because I think he's a great player, a great guy. But yeah, I think Trevor Chalobah gets sold. All right, the captain, the man, Reece James. What an end to the season he's had, man. Again, in my first video I did yesterday, I spent quite a lot of time waxing lyrical about Mr. James, and he's a keep. He's a keep. I think it's a weird one, isn't it? Because Maresca obviously doesn't like fullbacks. Do you know what I mean? Maresca is not a left back, left wing back, right wing back kind of guy. He is. Oh, you're midfielders, and I'm just, interestingly, kind of like, you remember when Pep went to Bayern Munich and Philip Lahm was a right back like his whole career, and then all of a sudden he becomes the best midfielder in the world. Feels like Enzo Maresca is kind of the same thing. He just wants to pile as many central midfielders into his team as he can at once. Whether that's the best for Reece James or not, I mean, it's easy for us to be annoyed by that because obviously we've literally seen him win the Champions League, tearing it up and down that sort of right wing back slot and that right back slot. We know how good he is with crossing and I mean, we obviously know how he plays that role really well, but the truth of the fact is, we're not playing that formation, that system. It is just not going to happen. Maresca is not going to wake up next season and go, "Oh, do you know what? I actually really feel like marauding fullbacks now." Um, but I'm going off a little bit. But ultimately, Reece James is growing. I said yesterday in my video, is really growing into this role of unlocking players from the back line like a midfielder does. So he spent a bit like, he was really doing that inverted midfield thing for like a big part of the season. And let's just take a second to talk about the fact that we've almost had him for a whole season, like wicked. Love that. But yeah, man, no, Reece James is obviously a keep. He's the captain. He's on a crazy wage, but ultimately, very few of the players that we've got kind of deserve that sort of money. Reece James has earned his keep with everything that he's done for us and that he can still do for us. Now he's looking like he's going to stay fit. He's learning how to be that maestro from the back line, which is kind of crazy. It's interesting. I'm kind of here for it. He can do so much. He picks a pass, he scores a goal. He's you know growing into the captain role as well. At the beginning, it was when he got the captainship, he was very kind of timid and bit of an introvert and not really that big personality that you want to see. But he's been a lot more like commanding and really stronger in his interviews recently and stuff as well. Reece James stays, absolutely no questions asked. Malagusto spent a little bit of time talking about Malagusto yesterday as well. I'll just get this out. Malagusto stays 100%. I mean, you are not getting a right back that much better than Malagusto that will be happy to play deputy and back up to Reece James. Also, Maresca seems to like him as an inverted midfielder, but like a not a defensive one, like a number eight. Do you know what I mean? Is like when he plays Malagusto on the right, when Reece James plays inverted midfield, you see Reece James go into the central defensive midfield kind of role. When Malagusto plays inverted midfield, he's all over the place and he's a runner. Do you know what I mean? He can run and run for days. Still hasn't scored a goal for us, which is a shame because he seems to like trying to take a pop every now and again, but obviously that's just not a part of his game. But like I said, man, ultimately we've got rid of a lot of really good right backs from our academy in the last few years, but I don't think there's any. We got Los Livramento and Lamptey and all these guys, and I don't see anyone else in the academy that's obviously commanding that spot at the moment. So with Malagusto's versatility, I've noticed he's kind of been getting brought on as a right winger recently in a lot of games. Maresca likes a guy that can fill a lot of roles. Malagusto is that guy. He's young. He's a good player. He stays. And this is the really sad one, isn't it? Wesley Fofana. Fofana. It is such a shame about Wesley Fofana because I can't remember exactly what the stats were, but when he was playing for us, our win percentage was just better than it was when we didn't have him. He he's kind of replaced Reece James as that, glass ankles guy, hasn't he? Where it's just like we love having him on the pitch, and obviously we spent a serious amount of money on him, like 80 mil, absolutely crazy, or maybe just a bit less than that. But yeah, Wesley Fofana is a great player. He just doesn't play, and for the wage that he's on, and for the spot that is ultimately being taken up in the squad because he is there sitting on our treatment table for 8 months out of 10. Do you know what I mean? It's just unfortunately gotten to that point. I don't think it's worth keeping him around. He gets sold. So the first loanee I would suggest of this lot is Aaron Anselmino. Everyone has been keep or sell so far, but Aaron Anselmino is a good-looking young centre back. I think we got him from Boca Juniors in Argentina. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen much of him on the pitch in competitive matches yet, but all of the rumblings around him are pretty good. He needs to go out and get some first team experience. He's very young. I think we're probably going to buy a centre back this season. Again, Mark Gay seems to be being spoken about quite a lot. But Aaron Anselmino looks good. He's a young lad. Let's get him out on loan. Let's get him some minutes at a team, maybe Strasbourg or something. Obviously, there's a couple of guys over there that have started to do really well. So it seems like a good breeding ground for our younger talent. But yeah, Aaron Anselmino, loan. Ultimately keep hold of him, but let's get him some minutes. Josh Achiampong is a stay. He's wicked, man. Enzo Maresca absolutely loves this guy as well. He's tall, he's fast, he's strong, he's still very young. He's an excellent backup deputy player. Um, yeah, he stays, man. There's not really much to talk about him. We still don't really know what his ceiling looks like. He hasn't nearly come into his prime yet. But ultimately, he looks like a wicked player, really, really young. He's been with us for a long time, and I don't see that we'd get enough for him by selling him at the moment to risk. getting rid of him. We get like 20, 25 mil if we talk about selling him. That's not enough for what we're looking at as the potential of this player. So Josh Ashton Pong, he sticks around.